Omarr Norman-Lott, defensive tackle from Tennessee, that Teja and JD were both really pumped about. We talked about him a few times on the pre-draft shows. We selected him in our mock draft in the second round. So, guys, what were your grades on that? So we went a clean sweep of A's with Josh Simmons. Where are you guys going with your grades for Omarr Norman-Lott?
Well, I tell you what, I liked him a lot when we were going through, always doing the mock drafts. He was always available. I could never get past this guy. Could never get past him. Anytime they were sitting there trying to get one guy through, or if I was taking somebody else, maybe like what's his name up?
Collins,
Pierce, or somebody else, or Nolan, somebody. He would always be like right there in that area for the second pick for us, and you couldn't pass him up because of his rating. And so when you watch him on film, you can see his explosiveness. You can see his quickness of his feet. You can see how he strikes with his hands. He's a player, man. He's an absolute player. He's so much of a playmaker that a guy that was in a rotational system with a number of guys that was out there, they picked him as a second pick. That says a lot. And when they sit there talking about like his reps and stuff like that, it's all about the quality of reps. What are you doing with it when you have it? So when he's sitting over here and he comes out and he's just blowing up guys in the backfield, and I'm talking about he's a pass rusher. That's what we needed from the inside. We're talking about somebody that was going to be Chris's, Robin to his Batman. Okay, and there's a lot of talented guys that we have on the D line, but we lost Turk Warren. We lost Turk. Okay, we needed to kind of replace something like that. Mike Pennell's going to be the guy that's going to smash everybody in the middle, toss all the guys, stop the run. We've seen him knock down, Big Williams on his tail. We know Big Mike's going to be able to do those things. Same thing with Menahu and all those different guys that we got. Hey, but this guy right here, young dude, he's going to come in and get some reps, and he's going to make some noise. He's going to blow some things up, man. He's very violent. I love how he plays. For me, I gave this actually I gave it a B plus. I was going to give it a B, but I'm giving it a B plus really for what we gave. Now he's not the biggest of guys, Marcus. He's not. Okay, and there's some probably might be a little knock on it because you might want a dude that has kind of the body type of a Chris Jones. But for me, for what he gives and the value that he gives to this team, I'm gonna go ahead and give him a B plus,
man. All right. Surprised I thought you were gonna go A there, but Tej, where are you going with this one?
I'm going B plus as well. I think this is probably our more boom bust pick, not injury related. Because obviously Simmons has his drawbacks and concerns, but I think this is much more injury. I think Simmons, if he's healthy, no one's questioning how good he's going to be. The sky's the limit. I think as far as play on the field and output, I think ONL, as people call him, is the bigger home run strikeout pick for us. Just because he just didn't play a lot. But I know that. So when you get the boomer bust, you get a sticking point with somebody, and then you get like the argument for and the argument against, right? Argument for, everyone's saying that's a Tennessee thing. That's not a Lott thing. Pierce was strung up by the same issues that Lott. They had 3 levels of rotations on the Tennessee D line, like 3 sets. So they did that. They did the hockey substitution. So they had a lot of you guys out, you guys out. They just want people fresh all the time, and good for them. It's a great. If you're deep enough, shit, run it. I mean, that's great for you, right? Yeah. I think we're trying to get that way. Actually, was the funny thing. I think we like to do that. We got a lot of guys now. I think that's great for them. It slows down the production of the player, and then people. That's too easy here of an explanation. So people want to start to look at character concerns, which maturity, which is funny because he's someone I never heard a character concern about. I watch a lot of those shows. I never heard that about him until he was drafted, and then all of a sudden they come out. I'm like, wait a minute. I never heard that once. I heard he had character concerns, and then he didn't get into it. McShay said there were a lot of funny stories about him at the combine. He said he's a character. He didn't get into it, but that's funny. I love to hear that. What I think we wanted, the other part is just the lack of run snaps yet against the run. I think that's the more like sketchy thing to me. Not because I don't think he can do it, because again, the counter argument to that is, well, it's not that he can't do it, it's that they didn't ask him to do it. Okay, that's fine. But at the end of the day, he didn't do it a lot. So like whether he can or can't, he's still now going to have to pretty much play the majority of his run defense snaps in the NFL now. That's where he's going to pretty much have to get his feet wet now. Like instead of getting that experience and knocking that out in college, he's going to have to really get his bumps and bruises in the NFL, which for most players, it's playing a lot of those snaps at a certain level in college and then having to upgrade that. Like, okay, can you sustain that dominant level, but just up here in the NFL? Whereas for him, it's like most guys are here. He gets a lack of experience is down here. So he's got to step all the way up here to get to that NFL run defense level. I think he can do it. I don't think we're going to put him in situations, honestly. I think we're deep enough where we're probably going to get his feet wet slowly, say, hey, we know you do this really well, because he's one of the more successful defensive tackles pass rushing in the past like 5 to 10 years. Like his metrics are just through the roof, crazy. That's why people who like him, they friggin' love him, like fringe first round type talent, right? And another right? If he played more run snaps and even looked decent at it, he probably would have been a first round pick. So we're lucky he didn't. For us, we're lucky he didn't play more and run snaps, because he would have been there. So I just think we're going to put him in situations where we know he can win, just straight up pass rush. And again, what's he coming into? Right, he's going to be next to Chris Jones. Like, so as good as he can possibly, here's the greatest thing about it. He could be a phenom rookie. He could be like one of the better rookie defensive tackles of the past 5 years, and he still won't get the most attention. It just won't happen because of who he has next to him. So he can look amazing, and he's still going to get some of the scraps from the offensive line, because they're always going to be looking at 95 every single time. So I think for him, sky's the limit. Single coverage, single blocking. They're not going to double him. He's going to be able to just shoot gaps and do just like, man, be you. They're going to tell him that. And don't worry about the run defense. We'll get you up to speed eventually. But just for now, do you get after that quarterback? That's what we want you to do, man. Just do that, and you're good. And he loves doing it, and he's incredible at it. So that is his strong suit, and that's what we need him for. So, yeah, B+.
And if this is like the replacement for Turk Warrington, like picking up where he left off, and a young guy without the price tag, then you found what you needed. That's what you needed, right? So we need that pressure. Like Greg Rose said, he may not knock down passes, but what he need is pressure. Absolutely.
We weren't asking Warrington to play run snaps anyway. He wasn't a run.
Exactly, right. That's right. Exactly. So he perfect. It's a perfect point. We're not asking for him to come in and do all the snaps. He's going to be a rotational piece, just like Warrington was. Same thing.
And he's fresh. Only playing, 18% of snaps a game? He's fresh. He's ready to go.
Yeah.
He's that young, puppy pit bull, man, that's just been in the apartment all day long. You get home and he's ready. He's just doing circles, ready to go, ready to run outside and just tear it up on the field. So unleash him, let him go.
Yeah, I mean, for as much as we love Turk Warden, is having him, like, he's bringing a little bit more of that pass rush specialist where, like, Wharton kind of worked to get to that. This guy already has kind of things in his bag that Wharton kind of, like, still doesn't even have. I mean, because this guy is a pass rush phenom. Obviously, we need to see it do it at the NFL level, but, like, this guy already has that in his bag, and having him do that, pretty much we've been begging the Chiefs to do for the last few years, to get someone who can get to the quarterback next to Chris Jones, and now we have it. So, like, it's going to be fun to see this guy kind of tee off on, Chris Jones gets double team and triple team, because really at some point they're not going to be able to do that anymore, because we are going to have this guy, another guy we're about to talk about in a little bit here, and and on top of Menahu, on top of Karlaftis. I mean, this D line is going to be very, very, very interesting to watch this year. I mean, we have a lot of depth for the first time in a really long time. So it's going to be exciting. So we do have Ryan Nutt to talk about Omarr Norman-Lott. So here is Ryan Nutt on Omarr Norman-Lott.
And I wanted to ask you about Omarr Norman-Lott. It seems like his board, there's people that have him really high and then others don't have him as high. I guess, well, what makes you confident about your evaluation about him? And I guess in a perfect world, what role does he fit for you guys?
Yeah, so he's got some similarities to Turk. He's bigger. He's not as fast, but their play style is very similar. This kid was like 99 percentile in terms of rush win rate. He was one of the top defensive tackles in winning one-on-one pass rush. And that's what we first off need, and that's what we saw could add value. These guys, these interior linemen that are, athletic, this kid jumped 31.5, 9.5, his big hands, those guys go quick. We knew they go quick. So we thought, and a interior guy that can rush as well go even quicker. So Brett was before the draft, before that round, Brett was pretty adamant about, okay, he's one of these guys we have to consider. And we put up a list of 4 or 5 guys, and he was one of them, and he ended up being one of the top guys left, and that was a position of need as well. But we feel like he can come in and help rush the passer. I feel like he didn't start a ton in his career there at Tennessee, but it's really what you do with snaps, and they rotate a lot. So really it's just what he does in those 20 to 25 snaps a game. And the kid was high motor. He was highly productive and highly disruptive. And those are the things we look for. And I think we'll be able to, Coach Collins, the best defensive line coach in the NFL, I believe, and he'll be able to get that out of him, and I think more. And even against the run, the kid I thought was solid and stout enough. So that might be an area, just because he's 305 pounds, that can be a little better. But we're excited to get this kid and work with him because we think there's a ton of potential.
Pretty high praise and very similar to what you guys have been saying about the Turk Warden. And what you guys mentioned the Turk Warden stuff when we did a mock draft on him. So this is same kind of thinking as the staff.
Mm-hmm. It's perfect.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.